the wickedest dream last night. I was walking.
Never second best.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Overwatch Regional Clash, where over the next 7 weeks, some of the best collegiate teams from across the United States are going to be competing for a first prize of $1,000. My name is Joshua Piscator Lee here alongside Seamus Seamoose Anderson, and for the next 7 weeks, we get to hang out with you guys.
Oh my goodness, Josh, I am looking forward to these 7 weeks, and you guys should be too, because we're going to have a ton of awesome games. And speaking of awesome games, this first game tonight between Maze Explorers and Roadhogs Vandals is certainly going to be a good one.
Right, and given that this is our first broadcast of the Overwatch Regional Clash, there's a few things that we want to let you guys know of in terms of rules and stuff. So let's take a look at some of our rules, because just in case some of you have gotten the chance to play in the closed beta, competitive Overwatch, it's going to be a little bit different, Seamus.
Yeah, of course. And also, because this is our first broadcast, we just want to let you guys know that please be patient with any small production issues we have. We're trying to, of course, iron out all the kinks. But speaking of the rules, there are 4 bands that are banned. There are 4 maps that are banned by the admins in this tournament, and that's going to be Lijiang Tower, Nepal, Temple of Anubis, and Hanamura. And then from the remaining 6 maps, the teams are going to basically ban maps one by one until they find the first map that they play in the best of 3.
Right, and absolutely there has to be something said for the heroes allowed as well. So I don't think we're going to be seeing any 6 D.Va, 6 Junkrat compositions coming into the Overwatch Regional Clash.
No, because there is a limit to 1 hero per player per team. So, like you said, no D.Va stacking, obviously. No 6 Tracer. That's something I like to do a lot in pubs. Nothing crazy like 6 Hanzards or anything, which actually has been a common strategy on certain maps. We will basically be seeing players sticking to whichever hero they prefer. They can definitely still swap, but there is not going to be any stacking of the heroes.
Right. And like we did say at the beginning of the broadcast, this is a tournament that will progress throughout the next 7 weeks. So, Seamus, why don't you tell us a little bit about the format which the ORC will take place in?
Yeah, so the Overwatch Regional Clash is going to basically be a circuit in which we have 6 teams signed up as of right now, because it is obviously a beta phase. More players are going to be given entry into the beta as the tournament goes on. And as a result, we don't want to deny any players the chance to compete. So what we've decided to do is basically, over this next 7 weeks, we're going to have tournaments every week, every Friday. And depending on how you place in each of those tournaments, you get a certain amount of points. First place, you get 100 points. Second place, you get 60 points. Third place, 40 points, and so on. And basically, it's going to be a playoff bracket based off of the team with the highest amount of points, and then the next highest is going to be in a gauntlet. So even if you get in the beta in the very last week of the ORC, even if you have 0 points, you still have a chance to make it to the finals, but you'll have to play a lot of games to get there.
Yeah, that'd be an absolutely sick story. Come in week 7, maybe place not very well at all, and all of a sudden make a run through the gauntlet to take the first prize of $1,000. Now, everybody is going to be playing the beginning parts of the tournament from home, but the finals, I believe we have something special?
Yeah, so the finals will be held at FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast University, on April 23rd. So mark your calendars. It's definitely going to be a kick-ass event. And besides the $1,000 that we have already secured generously, really, from the school, there might be more cash prizes as well as swag. Although no guarantees on that right now. For now, it's still a $1,000 prize pool, but we're hoping to get more as time goes on.
Right. A lot of teams from across many different regions are going to be competing. But let's take a look at the 2 teams that will be competing in our first semifinal broadcast of tonight. They're going to be playing off in a best-of-3 series. First map is going to be Hollywood, but Roadhogs Vandals, it's going to be Dakatsu, Botwez, Sharif, So True, Saggy Dragon, and Absent playing for that team.
And on the side of Vs Explorers, it's going to be Galestrom, Domuvarian, Kakisho, Yangtime, Red Rover, and Raguolith. And probably the biggest thing to talk about is these teams is for the Vandals. 4 of the players actually go to FGCU, so they probably have a lot of synergy, Josh.
Yeah. It'd be really, really awesome for the Florida Gulf Coast University to represent at their own land with their hometown squad. But then again, something that I really love about esports is the fact that, underdog stories or people who we haven't really heard of can kind of come from anywhere and really take the trophy for themselves. So definitely could be a home court advantage for them, but we'd love to see some upsets.
Yeah, and really that's what the ORC is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a regional clash. We're bringing together a bunch of different players from different schools to kind of band together for their region, and we're really looking forward to. Obviously, this is one of the first tournaments of its kind as far as Overwatch is concerned, since the competitive scene is very new. I do think this is actually the first collegiate tournament that exists, and the admins, including myself, are really looking forward to just seeing how these teams come together.
Right, absolutely. And the first map we are going to be playing is Hollywood, with the Explorers, I believe, going to be on the attacking side. So Hollywood, definitely a fun map. A lot of crazy things can happen, especially given the fact that this map changes a lot as you go through it.
Yeah, so obviously it is a payload map. You want to get the control of the first point and then push it, the payload along to the second checkpoint and then to the final checkpoint. It looks like we will be getting into the game in just a few seconds, guys. And Piscator, here we go. So obviously we have the Explorers on the offense, the Vandals on the defense. As far as things that we can expect, there certainly is a metagame as far as the competitive Overwatch scene is concerned, but really anything goes from this point on. 30 seconds before, obviously, the game starts. And as far as the team compositions are concerned, I feel like we'll probably see the same thing. You mentioned before that the offense had a sniper, and it looks like Yangtime once again is on a Widowmaker. And absent on support. So this is interesting because I don't know about you, Piscator, but I've had the opportunity to play with a few of these players. And when Absent and I played together in the first phase of the beta, he loved playing Torbjorn. So it's curious to see him on support playing Zenyatta now.
Because nobody wants to play support. Nobody wants to play tank. That means you have to go in and fill as the superhero. Anybody who's played MOBA can definitely relate. But Zenyatta, definitely one of those heroes that I would call a pseudo support, especially considering, for those of you who aren't familiar with Zenyatta, Zenyatta has an ability called Orb of Discord where you can throw it on somebody. And what does it do, Seamoose? Because it's pretty ridiculous.
Orb of Discord is a auto-locking ball that basically amplifies the damage you take from the enemy, from any enemy, not just Zenyatta. And it has no cooldown, so Zenyatta can just keep throwing it out and it will shred tanks, it will shred squishies, it will shred everybody. The nice thing about Zenyatta is not only does he have that debuff, but he also has the Orb of Harmony, which is basically a long-lasting heal that can remain on his allied teammates, and you'll generally see that on assassin-type heroes such as Genji, Tracer, or Reaper.
So it looks like the game is finally off to a start. The attacking team get on a pretty aggressive push up the right side of the map. It looks like the defending team pretty good about holding them off thus far.
Yeah. You do see, looks like the Vs Explorers are pushing on the right side. That's a lot of damage now. Let's see what Kakisho can do on this Zarya.
And so far, Kakisho, the only one really left standing. They're not quite able to get much map presence right here. We see a lot of these fights kind of start and funnel in around this side closet room. At least that's what I call it. And this main archway right here. Not a lot of players opting to go up the cafe stairs. But yeah, Reinhardt, definitely a major part of any sort of push here, Seamoose.
Exactly. Reinhardt with his 2000 HP shield is going to be very, very useful in pushing down. It looks like his shield is about to break, so that's the... it takes him a little bit of time to regen that shield. Once it gets back to up to 500 HP, he can throw it out again. But this major archway is one of the first really hard to contest points for Hollywood. It looks like Vs Explorers are trying to go through the right side, but that means they're funneling, taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, but nobody dropping quite just yet, however. They're staggering that Zarya particle barrier in addition to the Reinhardt shield pretty well. The fact of the matter is, it looks like Red Rover did manage to find a flank in there, but Absent finds him and Sharif picks up a pick on behalf of the Vandals. So, Explorers, a couple of decent pushes coming out of them thus far, but they're not
sound
quite
barrier.
able to. Lucio ult does come out. There's only 4 members of them. They charge right in with Galestorm charging to the backline immediately, and that's a couple of picks picked up by the Explorers right now, but they're doing a pretty good job of getting pushed back.
Yeah, Galestorm is pretty much alone now. He will finally pick up the kill onto the enemy Roadhog, but that's not going to be enough. However, the respawn timers are pretty low in this game. It looks like Doubleberry and Red Rover are here. Can they pick up the kill on the Stacking Dragon? I don't think a Symmetra teleporter has been put up yet. Oh no, it has in the very far back. So this is actually going to be really good for the Vandals, who can make it back to the zone of contention very, very quickly.
Yeah, now we see the Explorers now going for more of a staggered approach. Kakisho actually found the teleporter, manages to take it down, and now looking for a pincer movement. And many members of the Explorers are now in control of the objective point right here. Saggy Dragon, not a whole lot you can do by yourself as a Symmetra. This hill going down pretty quick.
Yeah, they have 2/3 so far. It's being contested, but there's so many members for the Vs Explorers here. They're probably going to be able to kill bot with. Yes, they do, and I think that's going to be it, Piscator. The first point has been taken, and we are now into a payload map.
So it seems like that first objective was taken in just about 2.5 minutes. So just in case this game doesn't ever make it to the finish, the other team will have 2.5 minutes to break that first objective. If they manage to break it and under that time, they automatically take the game itself. But right now, we see the map switch over from capturing the objective to a more traditional payload, and Galestorm doing the traditional thing of just sitting there holding right click.
Yep, so one of the other things that the recent patch actually did, it made it so that if you have 1 or 2 members on a payload, it actually moves a little bit faster than it used to. 3 members, of course, is the maximum speed and efficiency at which you can move the payload. And speaking of moving the payload, Vs Explorers have done a really good job so far. There's really no contesting from the Vandals as far as I can see, and 4 members are on fire.
Yeah, Red Rover was causing so much mayhem in the backline, and Galestorm has just been sitting there the entire time. We see the Vandals doing their best to fight them up. Ragolith actually pops the sound barrier right now to give themselves a little bit more extra pushing power. Galestorm going in a 1v2 against the front line of the Vandals. He's getting pushed back a little bit by the Roadhog ulti. So this push finally being slowed down just a little bit, Simus.
Yeah, but here comes Kakisho on D.Va. Got to be able to push a little bit more, but still into 1v2 against both Absent and Botwest. But Domovarian trying to back up his D.Va. D.Va is, of course, super tanky in the fact that she has basically 2 effective health points, both her mech and then her pilot form. And so far, it looks like the Vs Explorers are still pushing this in. This is a really, really close fight, however, though, as multiple members of the Vandals are coming in here. And here comes the D.Va ult.
Yeah, this one pretty much only going to be used to zone. It looks like Kakisho actually did manage to pick up Absent with that. And Red Rover goes in pretty hard, but the members of the Vandals are pretty healthy at this point. Kakisho still doing work in the front line. That mech not going down quite just yet, but a few members of the Explorers were picked off on that offensive push. So true! With a Riptire finishes off Kakisho, and it looks like for the first time in a few minutes, the Vandals actually have some control back of the payload.
Yeah, a bit of commentator's curse there. As soon as you're pointing out for how long Kakisho had survived, Kakisho, of course, forced out of that mech form and then blown up by the Riptire from So True. He's being really, really aggressive now with this Junkrat, though. Junkrat doesn't have that much HP, so you might want to be careful. But we see Galestorm and co. Galestorm is pushing forward with that shield. They're going to have a very strong front line. Let's see if they can get back on the payload.
Yeah, last time they came in, the Vandals had to react, but now the Vandals have had a little bit of an opportunity to set up, but it doesn't look like it matters too much because the Explorers do pick up 2 on their entrance. They just need to push that payload into that yellow loading zone in order to get the refresh on the timer, and Kakisho doing a great job of zoning. Gang Time sitting up top, picking off members left and right. And it looks like they are going to get the new checkpoint activated right here. A couple of minutes added onto the clock. And right now, Seamus, they're on the final push.
Yeah, and this is where that offensive Widowmaker is so effective. If she can manage to get to the high ground, she can find picks left and right and push in for the offense. Oh, man.
Oh, unless you get popped.
Yeah, ate that hook, though. Probably shouldn't have been that aggressive there. Now Botox decides to use his ultimate. Regolith has his sound barrier if he decides to use it. Here we go.
Here we go indeed, and the Explorers are pushing in very aggressively with that increased health. A hammer comes down from the Earth Shatter, and the big tank of the front line goes down. Galestorm just soaking up damage from Dakatsu, and there's not much that soldier can do except back up. This tank line is doing so much work, creating so much mayhem on behalf of the Vandals. They're split up yet again in the payload, continuing to march forward.
And you know, Piscator, I think that's one of the issues in this team that we've seen. Or between these 2 teams, there are 2 very strong tanks in D.Va and Reinhardt, and there's one not great tank in the form of Roadhog. Don't get me wrong, he's very, very beefy. He has a lot of self-sustain, but he isn't great at peeling. He isn't great at contesting objectives, and that's what Kakisho and Galestorm have been doing for Maze Explorers so far. A hook landing onto Kakisho here, but he's able to defend himself, and we are really, really close to the end of the map.
And look at how effective gang time is being on an offensive Widowmaker on the last push of Hollywood. This is one of those super close quarters combat areas where you expect a lot of AoE damage or just kind of click and forget heroes to come out, but this finesse hero in the form of the Widowmaker just zoning people off left and right, doing absolute work for the Explorers as they're marching this payload right into the VIP zone. This is the last stand for the Vandals.
Yeah, the last stand for the Vandals. Can they make anything happen here? Even if they win this team fight, they're still going to have 3 minutes to go. Sound barrier popped by Regulith, and he's going to be able to keep himself and Galestorm Kakisho alive. Domo Baron coming in, and that should be it. Payload secured, and a very quick game ends up in a pretty solid offense for the Maze Explorers.
Yeah, I believe that time was just in about 7 minutes. We're going to have an update for the stream, so you get a look at the play of the game. Ooh, I always love those highlight intros.
So that hero play with the Helix Rockets from Domavarian. Looking at this play of the game here, he has his ultimate up, and of course he got too strong. And really, I know that obviously it was a soldier play. The double frontline there did so much work for their team.
Right. Just remembering how often Galestorm, as he gets the epic vote, probably from his own... Oh, somebody on the other team even voting for him. Much love being shown across... Wait, 6 plus 5, they're 11... I don't even know how that works mathematically, but then again, I did say I was bad at math. So well, 7:13 was the total match time, it seems, Seamus.
Yeah, 6 plus 5 equals 11, and I'm pretty sure, Josh, 11 is less than 12. But we'll ask the experts about that one. A 7 minute and 13 take, though, is pretty fast. You know, not the super fastest possible, but certainly a hard time to beat. So we'll really have to see what Roadhog's Vandals decide to do to come back in this.
Right. They are going to be switching sides right now. We're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, it'll be the second side of Hollywood between Roadhog's Vandals and Maze Explorers. Don't go anywhere.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ORC. My name is Seamus, joined by Piscator, and we just saw Maze Explorers take the attacking map after a 7 minute and 13-second game. So really, it's going to be up to the Vandals here to beat that time or lose the map.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this second side plays out, because as the first team to play on the first side of a map, you really have a sort of a greater control of power in how the pacing of the second round is going to play out, because essentially this is a completely different game, given that they are working with the, I believe, 7 minute 13-second time constraint. So here we go, right off to the races with this one. Let's see exactly how this one is going to change up.
Going all out of the left side, and they have a Winston too, so they're going to have a decent front line, but Red Rover might be cut out here. Maybe.
Yeah, that's one guy that's completely separated from his team. But we've seen Red Rover do this so often on the offense side when he was playing on the attack. But it looks like in the beginning of this map, Maze Explorers took a little bit of a longer time pushing in through this archway, but the Vandals wasting no time whatsoever.
Red Rover's still alive. He got a kill onto Saki Dragon, but that's the healer from the offense.
Yeah, and it seems like that effect is snowballing into Kakisho, and Red Rover picking up yet other kills. This aggressive defensive push by Red Rover's Reaper really paying dividends thus far.
And this is great because you saw him use this Wraith form after he got Orb of Discord. If you Wraith form away as Reaper, the Orb of Discord is dropped, and that means that the Vandals really haven't answered the defensive Reaper yet. They are caught between a rock and a hard place.
All right, the Explorers doing a great job shoving them away. Vandals only have about 6 minutes left in order to make this win happen for them. Otherwise, the Explorers are going to march away with an early lead in this series. Yangtime still on that Widowmaker and picking off a couple members, Ragulith and Yangtime going big in the kill feed, and that's still a couple of members from the Vandals still pushing that Transcendence from Absent getting popped with Red Rover coming in for the cleanup duty. Kakisho on that Torbjorn on fire, and it's only the Zarya left inside the house, and she goes down too. Kakisho going nuts on this little Santa Claus.
Yangtime finding those picks there meant that the Vandals had to force their hand. They pushed aggressively with Absent's ultimate, but it really wasn't going to happen. A 3v6 in that situation is so hard to win if you're the ones attacking. And as a result, another successful defense by Maze Explorers. They've really shown some dominance here in this first map on Hollywood. Let's see if they can continue it.
Right, and all Maze Explorers really have to do is hold on for another 5 minutes and 10 seconds, I believe, if my math is correct. Although we've already established math isn't my strong suit.
Oh, here we go.
They
sound
push
barrier
with the sound
coming
barrier.
in.
Oh,
Ultimate.
big Zarya ult, the Graviton Surge locks down 3 members of the Explorers, and so true, breaking the shield of Galestorm, finally forcing that tank off the objective. And it finally looks like Vandals are picking up a couple of kills right here, establishing objective presence of their own. I'm not sure if Explorers can stop this.
Yeah, there is a Symmetra teleporter, if I'm not mistaken. Does it mean that the Explorers get here in time? I'm not sure if Piscator's got to be really close. They're still contesting
going very low. They do fight it off.
They've gotten 1/3 so far. Sharif and Dekatsu are still here.
Red Rover going absolutely bananas with the double kill in the kill feed. They were so patient with that Seamoose. They waited. They didn't care that the hill was getting halfway to the capture time. They waited. They found the flank. They dropped in, and they just swept the Vandals off of that objective.
Yeah, to be completely honest, Piscator, I'm not entirely sure where that teleporter is set up, but it's got to be here somewhere because the defense got back to the point so quickly, and by having so many defensive turn-based heroes, they don't even need to actually be there to defend properly. And look at this. Maze Explorers once again setting this Reaper to be super aggressive. Red Rover dueling the Reinhardt. He might get caught out here, but he is still wasting their time.
Yeah, right now, kills being traded back and forth. Definitely going to benefit the Explorers, considering that they only have to hold out for a little less than 4 minutes. And this first... Well, then again, if they lose it completely right here, I guess it doesn't really matter either. Galestorm.
Oh, here comes
the Graviton Surge gets changed with the Pharah ultimate as well, but Dakatsu and Sheriff actually do manage to pick up a couple. This is a big push coming out of the Vandals, and Saggy Dragon popping the sound barrier as well. Gonna make it very hard for the Explorers to keep him off. But Kakisho with the Molten Core going absolutely nuts, cleaning up the entire objective yet again. I'm calling these fights way too damn early. Explorers going crazy.
Torbjorn shows us once again that hard work pays off, and as a result, Domovarian has made it back. Botwist here is taking a little bit of damage, but hasn't been able to take the point just yet. The thing is, though, even though Maze Explorers lost their teammates, Torbjorn was able to delay for so much that we might see them be able to push this offense back here.
Yeah, it's only really Galestorm focusing the attention of the Vandals on the objective right now, but they back up finally has arrived. That's a big 3-man combo coming out of the Explorers right here to buy themselves back control of this objective point. Only Absent really in a position to kind of do anything, and not much you can do as a solo Zenyatta by yourself in the backline of a team this scary.
Yeah, but in this situation, Absent is down 5 members remaining, only 1 ultimate left. That's the Earth Shatter from Reinhardt. Vandals need to do something here, otherwise they are out.
Yeah, if they don't capture this point, it's absolutely donezo for them. And this is the final push coming out of the Vandals. But Kakisho going huge with a double kill, zoning off all the members, and Ragulith and Red Rover cleaning up the kills for themselves. And that's going to be it. The first game of the Overwatch Regional Clash taken by Maze Explorers.
The semifinals between Maze Explorers and Roadhogs Vandals.
And Kakisho with the play of the game.
This play of the game for Kakisho here. Let's take a look at this. This is good old-fashioned hard work. Gets a kill with the left mouse button, and another, that was probably with the turret as well. Puts some armor down, picks up that kill into the Zarya with the help of his Reaper, and good 3K there, but really the reason why he got that play of the game, 15 kill streak, 19 eliminations. That gnome doing some work.
My gosh. So those of you who haven't played much Torbjorn or this beta, the way that combination worked mechanically, I know, Seamoose, you're the color guy, but this is so simple that I feel like I can explain it. First, you hit Q, then you hit this button on your mouse over and over again, and then all of a sudden you get play of the game, and then you take game 1 in the series.
Was it this button or this button, Piscator?
It was left click.
All right, mouse cam, left click. His right click is pretty good, to be fair. But then again, you can also just put that turret down and then decide to AFK. That's what I do whenever I play Torbjorn. But there's a reason why these guys are playing in this tournament, and I'm just casting. They certainly know a little bit more than I do, perhaps.
Right. And speaking of the players, they're gonna take a few minutes, kind of readjust, talk about what exactly went wrong in the first game, and they're going to be getting into our new lobbies. We're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, it'll be game 2 in the best of 3 between Maze Explorers and Roadhogs Vandals. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Regional Clash, where we're watching some of the best collegiate teams from across the United States go heads up for a chance to win $1,000 as the first prize across these next 7 weeks. I am Joshua Piscator Lee here again with Seamus Seamus Anderson, and we saw in game 1 Maze Explorers take that down pretty convincingly.
Yeah, not only did the Maze Explorers finish the first map as the offense, they also completely shut down the enemy offense when it was the Vandals trying to attack. So both on offense and defense, as far as Hollywood is concerned, a very, very strong showing from the Maze Explorers. But now we're on Kings Row. It's a best-of-3 series, and now we're in the second match of the series. So can Roadhogs Vandals turn their luck around? We're about to find out.
And then again, this is a much different map from Hollywood. I think Hollywood is one of my my favorite maps in the game because I'm a fan of the more wide-open run-and-gun style. But Kings Row, it stays pretty claustrophobic throughout the beginning.
That's a good point. And you know what's actually really interesting about claustrophobia, at least in the way you've described it? We saw Yangtime sniping for his team and Sharif sniping for his as well. So 2 snipers on both of these squads, and sniping as Widowmaker on Kings Row is very, very effective. So I feel like both of these teams are going to go for that strategy, and that looks to be the case as we see them setting up.
And then again, it's a lot easier, I would say, for the defending side to pull out something like a Widowmaker, because if it doesn't go really well for them, they can just switch, because the first objective is it's a couple of jumps away, as opposed to a map like Hollywood, where you really have to make a sort of a trek before you get to that first capture point.
Right, and for the defense, the spawn point is actually quite a bit away from the capture point. So as a result, we see Saggy Dragon running Symmetra again. I think that is something that you'll find teams doing, since Teleporter has such an effective use in getting your team set up faster. And oh, Sharif with the snipes.
Yeah, big defensive pick coming out there. Like you said, Seamus, the fact that the the defenders rather, spawn so far away, gonna make it so much easier for Maze Explorers to push through. Galestorm.
Oh, man.
Sharif picking up yet another one.
Again.
Be pretty big, but Domovarian picking up a kill there, going to make Maze Explorers a lot more inclined to push forward a little bit right here. But then again, not a whole lot of presence. They're playing this a little bit slower.
Yeah, playing it slower, even if you get a pick, is definitely a good idea. Oh my god!
What was that?
Botways! What?
He just picked him right out of the air like a frog catching a fly. That was absolutely bananas.
Oh my goodness. I've actually never seen that work successfully. That was incredible.
Yeah, but here we see Maze Explorers going under a trademark aggression with Kakisho. If we take a look at Kakisho right now, going very aggressive in the backline, causing mayhem. Finally going what I call zero suit right there, losing the mech suit. But Galestorm, with the help of the sound barrier, they're making their first initial push onto this capture point, with Domobarian actually going on fire.
Yeah, So True's on Bastion, but he's not in the best situation right now. He's actually 1v1ing Kakisho. Is he going to be able to pick up the kill? No, Kakisho manages to 1v1 So True on Bastion, and as a result, this is going to be the first point probably taken. Sharif is trying to do the best that he can, but it's not going to be enough. Piscator, that was a 1 minute and 30-second take.
Pretty good. 1 minute, 30 seconds on the clock for the first objective. Absolutely crazy. And this is classic Maze Explorers. Of course, I say classic, only having seen one game of them before.
After seeing 20 minutes, we can confirm this is classic.
But the things that they did in game 1, they did again in game 2. Kakisho and Red Rover just diving backline over and over again and causing mayhem on that D.Va and that Reaper pick. It's going so well, and Red Rover yet again picking up another kill. Saggy Dragon going down. That teleporter going to be a little bit longer before it can get dropped.
And the thing is about these alleyways, if you lose anyone and you're not in a 6v6 situation as a defense, you have to concede a lot of ground. You either have to go super, super aggressive or just concede as much ground as possible. And when you're outnumbered in this kind of situation, it's hard to be aggressive. Botez, though, getting killed onto Kakisho, but Red Rover answering onto So True. Red Rover has had an incredible Reaper so far, but this ultimate coming from Takatsu actually doesn't find anyone. They finally pick up the kill onto Galestorm, though. This could be good for the Vandals.
Yeah, finally, the Vandals finding a little bit of life for themselves in this game, and that's pretty much almost a clean sweep. Domavarian, the only one really in the backline, trying to buy his team a little bit of time, but he's getting focused down by all members of the Vandals, and finally, the explosive shot from Takatsu finds the kill, and they're going to start pushing back this payload just a little bit, but Maze Explorers, we know, they're never going to let off that gas pedal.
Yeah, never going to let off that gas pedal. Indeed, they have the sound barrier available. That's going to be really, really crucial in the next ultimate. And Absent on Lucio does not. So Kakisho finding a kill into Sacking Dragon. I'm not sure what Symmetra was doing there all alone. Now Kakisho on Sharif too. Sharif is going to try and pop his ultimate, but he's completely outnumbered. I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up anyone here. And this could be a huge push.
Yeah, huge push right here. The D.Va ult doing a great job of zoning them out. Oh, a double kill! Big pop coming out of Kakisho, and Yang Time cleaning up stuff on that Tracer. That's probably the most opposite thing from a Widowmaker I can think of in this game. But Kakisho, blah, 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 going even crazier, picking up a kill even without the mech. And the rest of the Vandals getting pushed back into the warehouse. 6 minutes, 17 seconds left on the clock for Maze to push into this. And right now, they're looking so strong, Seamoose.
Yeah, there's so much time to push around this final push. You see Galestorm, he dropped his shield just so he can give it some time to recharge as Botez almost gets killed by the Yang Time ultimate. Absent forced to use his ultimate just as a defensive maneuver. However, as a result, they only pick up one kill so far. They do get Red Rover too. This could be a decent amount of reprieve for Roadhog's Vandals. But the thing is, the 4 members of Maze Explorers that are still alive are still pushing this.
This is where things can get scary because Galestorm does have the Earth Shatter. He could just drop it right on all 4 of them right here. And with Ragolith popping the sound barrier, this could be the moment for him to use it. And he picks up a couple. And here goes the Explorers trying to pick up kills onto the Vandals. Another offensive D.Va ult coming out, blowing the members of Vandals back. But they did have the sound barrier to keep them alive. And right now, with their own Lucio ult, the Vandals are fighting back. It's very, very strong. They picked up 2 already.
I like the fact that Saggy Dragon decided to forego the Symmetra in favor of the Reaper here. That's providing a lot more offensive pressure for his team. And you don't really need the Symmetra teleporter when your defensive spawn is so close to the checkpoint. So even though we do see the Roadhogs Vandals fighting back so well, Piscator, they still have 5 minutes to go through. This is going to be a very long game, or Maze Explorers could end it here and now.
Yeah, remember, the Explorers did only have 1 ultimate, and right, they have Ragolith with the sound barrier right here, and Yang Time just diving right in with that increased health to force the members of the Vandals back. And here they go. The offensive push does come out. Galestorm actually goes down. That's their front line. That's not available to the Explorers. And right now, the Vandals popping their own sound barrier, forcing back the Explorers on their second push on this hill.
Multiple heroes on fire on both sides. Kakisho is in pilot form now. Is he going to go down? No, he still managed to survive. And Sharif actually gets baited. Sagging Dragon on the backside, forced to go back into his Wraith form and back off, as this is, of course, 1 member down on the side of the defense. They're going to reposition a little bit. Oh, Far just getting caught, though. This could be a chance for Maze Explorers to push it in.
Yeah, that's a big 2 kills coming up in favor of the Explorers. And all the members of the Vandals are caught right in the payload. What a great pinch that came in on behalf of the Explorers. And that's going to be Dunzo. That's GG to the team and Maze Explorers. What a massive play! That was a sick wombo.
That was fantastic. Not only did Red Rover go back on his Reaper, but Kakisho also going around. And I hope that's the play of the game. Piscator, it might very well be. Either way, it's going to be Red Rover with the play here. He's going to be able to win the duel wombo. Yeah, this is it. This is right at the end of the game. Look at this. Both of them going in. Absolutely destroys the enemy team. Finishes the 5K and wins the game for his team. 6 minutes and 3 seconds. That game was even faster than game number 1. Maze Explorers are looking very, very strong.
So the first game, they managed to end it on Hollywood in a matter of 7 minutes and 13 seconds. In this game, they decided to one-up even themselves and end the game in a minute and 10 seconds, even quicker.
I know we've only seen about 20 to 30 minutes of ORC streamed gameplay, but Maze Explorers have to be looking like one of the stronger teams in the league at this point, don't they?
Right. I mean, I'm not one for, premature calling of things, but I'm pretty sure this team's going to take the entire thing with only having seen 30 minutes.
Yeah. We'll see.
For those of you who can't tell, I was being a little bit sarcastic.
We'll see.
Who knows? We might get it. This is why tournaments are fun. You see one team do super, super well in the beginning, and then another team just comes out like superheroes and just stomps all over that team. So that's why we esports.
At this point, it's certainly the Vandals that'll be looking for their hero moment because their backs are up against the wall. They lost the first game of this best of 3, and as far as time is concerned, Vs Explorers just set up a very, very hard time to beat. So we'll see what Roadhog's Vandals can bring out.
Yeah, we've seen so many times the combination of Red Rover and Kakisho just getting flanked off or getting to the squishy members of Vandals really swinging the tide in these fights, because especially with that last push, even though Red Rover had that massive the Death Blossom coming out, it's the fact that Kakisho went with him, set it up. We've seen so much diva play coming out of Kakisho, but right now it looks like Roadhog, the more defensive tank, coming out in play.
Yeah, so it looks like, obviously you don't want to go the same hero every single time. Kakisho taking a page out of, I want to say, Botwas, really, because Botwas, even though he lost game number 1, that's the second time we've seen him have 3 gold medals and 5 medals total for his team. So it's not as if the Roadhog pick in the series itself has necessarily been bad. It's just how the rest of the team has played around it. So perhaps Kakisho and the Vs Explorers can make it work a little bit better for themselves.
Right, and with 5 seconds left before the gates open, looks like Vs Explorers are set up pretty healthily. Remember, the Vandals only have, I believe, 6 minutes and 3 seconds left in order to really break this in. Gang time. Oh boy, this sniper coming out. This is going to be really, really big if he can continue picking up these kills and getting that ultimate for the Vision as well.
Yep, Sharif, this time not on a Widowmaker of his own. The hook actually lands, but behind the wall, Domo Varian gets a pick, though. That's going to stifle the offense for some time.
An early 3 kills for the Explorers. Going to get those ultimate timers charging up very, very quickly. As Sotro actually finally picks up Domo Varian. It's going to have a long walk back to this objective point. But right now, Vandal's not necessarily in a position to really push this either.
Yeah, we'll see. Sharif trying to break down Galestorm's shield. Oh, man, that's Reaper going in the backside. Can he get out of this alive? Red Rover does have the Orb of Harmony, though, so he's going to be able to keep himself alive with the help of his Zenyatta. Nope, finally gets caught down, though. That's a good potential pick here. We'll see what the Vandals can do with it.
Yeah, Yangtime actually going on fire right now. Even getting all of these picks as the members of the Vandals just struggling to break through. But it looks like they do pick up a couple right there with Dakatu forcing Galestorm off of the objective point. And here comes the follow-up from the rest of the Vandals. High Noon coming out of McCree, but he actually gets shut down right in the middle of it. But it looks like the Vandals actually making quite a stand for themselves. They have pretty significant control of this objective.
Even without the Deadeye there, the Vandals do have sound barrier.
Wow, that's
Absent
huge.
gets protected by his own Zarya, so Kakisho now is the only one on the map. Will he go down? That's a Graviton Surge, used to kill, but a great defensive ultimate for Gulith. It's not going to be in time, though. The Vandals are still fighting.
Domo Varian? Domo Varian? Oh my god! Domo! Can he get 4? No, the triple kill, and that's going to be enough, but it looks like the Explorers actually do fight that off with Domo going absolutely ham.
That is still 1/3 of the point taken by the Vandals. So Red Rover, he's looking for something sneaky here. Doesn't have his ultimate yet, and also doesn't have Orb of Harmony, so I don't want to see him go too crazy. But this, look at this guy. He's so cheeky here. Yeah, you're not going to do anything here. Get out of there. Oh, he's in trouble.
And he just Wraith walks right away, but drawing the entire attention of the enemy team into the apartment building. So now the Explorers know exactly where the Vandals are trying to push from. Takatsu going in by himself, not really with the follow-up, and he just gets deleted by Domo Varian. So accurate on this soldier play, and Absent actually gets knocked out with the Earth Shadow, but Sharif does have the Deadeye, doesn't manage to channel it all the way as Ragulith actually comes in with the Transcendence as well to keep the fight going. Botwiz in the middle of them trying to cause mayhem, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough as the Explorers fight up yet another push from Roadhog's Vandals.
Yeah, we saw that entire fight started with Nakatsu going for a pin onto Galestorm, but the thing is, when you go on to pin the enemy Reinhardt, a pin only does, if I'm not mistaken, 300 damage. So you're not actually going to kill the Reinhardt, but speaking of killing Reinhardt, he gets the kill here.
Yeah, Dakatsu got a great Earth Shatter off with that equating to 2 kills for the Vandals at this point, and this should be enough for them to take it. Objective ticking up all the way to the fill point, and it does look like that's going to be it. First objective in the payload has finally been activated with Yang Time hanging back a little bit to get any picks that it can possibly find. But then again, the Explorers took that first objective in a matter of a minute, I would say.
Yeah,
Vandals had a lot of ground to make up for.
A minute and a half was about the time it took for the Explorers to take it. It took about 3.5 minutes for the Vandals to make it. So they have 3 minutes extra on this timer. But like you said, they need to push this as fast as possible. So that means keep as many people on the payload as you can. You know, 3 is the maximum speed at which you can go to. And oh, they got to pick onto the Bastion. That's going to be really, really good for pushing through this alleyway.
Ryan Galestorm actually looking for a drop in, but Sharif actually, they found a couple of big kills onto the defense of Maze Explorers right here.
Galestorm, what are you doing?
Just going in by himself, it seems. He misses the charge right
They're
here.
going in from behind.
Oh, big ultimate coming out, but can they capitalize? The res comes through just in time, however, but not before Galestorm takes down 2
They're
of
still
his
pushing
own.
the point. Piscator, they wanted to go for this back attack strategy, but the thing is, Vandals are about to get the point.
Oh my goodness. This is absolutely nuts.
Oh my
They
goodness.
finally respond with a couple of kills of their own, but did
They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it. What the heck is going on?
Oh my god. Holy crap. That looked really, really
They
bad.
didn't
for the
get it. They're
Explorers.
on it.
That looked so bad for the Explorers. But by the hair of their chins, they managed to win the fight. That was a super, super risky pincer maneuver. But somehow they pulled it off.
Step 1, pinch them. Step 2, kill them all. Step 3, question mark. Step 4, profits.
Yeah, at this point, you know, we're getting very, very close. I think there's about 1.5 minutes left before the designated time. Either way, the production staff is probably going to know that better than we will. Far Ultimate coming up, damage boosted as well. Does so much damage. Kakisho with the 2K, looking for a third. Can they get the Czar? Yes, he does. Oh my goodness, Kakisho is not only a Diva god, but apparently also a Fire god.
Man, we're about to call him a Diva one trick, and all of a sudden, all right, he can play Roadhog pretty well too. And this guy just plays everything. Or girl, I have no idea who Kakisho actually is. But I do know that the Maze Explorers, I believe they only have to hold off the Vandals for another 1 and 10 seconds, I believe. So they only, and the fact that the Vandals are pushed this far back into their own spawning points and the payload so far away can be so tricky for them. And Domo just raining hell down upon them. Ragulith with the res available on the Mercy as well. They can play very, very aggressively.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the aggressive kind of defense we see from teams in the Overwatch competitive scene. And it looks like essentially another team wipe in favor of Maze Explorers. That is going to be it. So the Maze Explorers take it 2-0 in this best-of-3 series, and they move on to the Week 1 ORC Grand Finals.
The finals, Maze Explorers, the team that we're calling to win the entire thing, right, T-Moose?
Kappa.
Yes, Kappa, absolutely. So we've seen both of those games on both Hollywood and Kings Row go pretty decisively in favor of Maze Explorers.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, then again, we've only seen these two teams play throughout the, I don't know exactly how many are registered in this tournament at this very moment.
Well, I was about to say, to speak to the strength of Maze Explorers, they were playing against a team which had 4 members from the same school. So as far as synergy is concerned, you'd almost expect the Vandals to have better synergy than the Explorers, but the Explorers really stepped up. So I'm looking forward to this next game.
Right, especially that duo of Red Rover and Kakisho just finding flanks over and over again. So many plays were made by them. I mean, that last payload stop, that was nuts. Like how close, it was probably like a centimeter off, or in freedom units like an inch off. I don't think a centimeter is actually an inch, but anyway, the fact that they were able to make those big plays over and over again, definitely this team is going to be one to look out for.
Yep. That being said, though, I mean, of course, it is the first week of the Overwatch Regional Clash, you know, and Roadhog's Vandals did a pretty good job, too. I think a lot of this, not only just individual play, but also strategy. There were some maybe questionable picks. And one of the core things about the series was the fact that the Reinhardt Diva frontline was so much more effective for Explorers. So in the next few weeks, maybe the Vandals will come back, decide they want a little bit more frontline, and maybe they'll be one of the top teams that we see in this series. That's one of the cool things about the format, is that almost from week to week, things can really change.
Right, absolutely. But for now, Maze Explorers showing that they're a team to look out for. But ladies and gentlemen, while we prepare for our next match coming up, we're going to go to a quick break. Let us know in the chat exactly what you think about competitive Overwatch. I know Seamus and I are super excited to be casting this for the first times like actually on a stream in a tournament,
Yeah.
and we're having a lot of fun. And
just a heads up before we go to that break, though, Piscator, I do want to say that the results are in from the other semifinal that was going on at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And in the finals for this first week of the ORC, we are going to have Vs Explorers, who we just saw, go against Divas Zerglings.
Divas Zerglings, because she's a pro.
Yeah.
She used to be a pro StarCraft player
Yeah.
in the lore. See, all the Blizzard games come together.
Of course.
But like we said, we're going to be going to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Follow the channel if you haven't already. In a couple minutes, we'll be back. The Zerglings taking on the Explorers in the finals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Regional Clash, where we are in the finals of Week 1. So let's take a quick look at the bracket, see exactly how everything went down. We know not everybody is super familiar with the teams yet, because, you know, quite frankly, neither are we. But Seamoose, we're finally in the finals for the first week.
Piscator, I don't know about you, but I am 100% familiar with these teams, so you should step it up. No, but seriously, in this week number 1, so looking at the bracket, we just saw Vs Explorers walk all over Roadhog's Vandals, who defeated Zenyatta's Enlightened, which were actually playing 4v6 in the quarterfinal round, so that was a little bit awkward. But on the other side of the bracket, Divas Zerglings made it all the way from the quarterfinals to this final match, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these two teams play.
Right, especially because the last match we saw, it was on stream with the with Vs Explorers, and you talked about how they, I mean, essentially walked all over the other team and then walked backwards, ran them over with their car again. So, given that these two teams,
that was a little graphic. This was supposed to be a family show.
It was pretty dirty though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, especially Kakisho and Red Rover in those flanks, they were absolutely nuts. So I'm really excited for this finals. But before that, let's take a look at these two teams so we get a breakdown one more time. On the Zergling side, we have Doggy, Revenge, Logic, Ephraim, Noctis, and Krakenik. It's always the last name that's confusing.
Yeah. And for the Explorers, it's going to be Galestorm, Domo Varian, Kakisho, Yagtime, Red Rover, and Ragulis.
So yeah, both of the teams. Both of the teams are in the lobby. We're going to be ready to go in just a few seconds. And this time, we're going to be going on the very first iteration. We are entering our game, the first game in the best-of-3 series between Diva Zerglings and Vs Explorers. Maybe the Zerglings will play like their namesake and just, you know, 6-pool rush. Is that a thing anymore? I stopped playing in Brood War. I
actually really only started playing in Legacy of the Void. I'm gold in 3v3s, so I mean, you know, clear them, oh god.
There's a rank system. I don't play much StarCraft anymore. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's actually really cool. Since I knew about the game, obviously, and I followed it, but my buddies got me into it and they helped me carry. I actually don't know 6-pool. What is that? Is that when you... Oh, yeah. 6-pool, not really that much of a thing anymore. But anyway, we're not here to talk about StarCraft. We're here to talk about Overwatch.
Yeah, and the story of the previous series, on behalf of Vs Explorers at least, because we know we haven't really seen the Zerglings play, was keeping an eye on Red Rover and Kakisho, especially when it comes to the attacking side. As we see right here, they're starting off on the defense. But even still, we see them like look for the wraparounds. We see them wait very patiently. They're not afraid to let the other team jump on the objective for a little bit if it means that they get a great opening.
Piscator, Kakisho on Roadhog. If I'm not mistaken, we saw him literally hook a Pharah out of the sky. That was Kakisho, correct?
5 out of 7. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a perfect hook. So I'm a little bit scared for the members of the Zerglings. But like you said, let's see if they're going to be able to rush the enemies down. They do have Revenge on Pharah, but they've got a very strong front line in Reinhardt and Winston. They have the 2 strong supports to back it up. So it's basically the 2-2-2 strategy that we see very commonly. Let's see how they play it.
This is definitely a very mobile team that the Zerglings are bringing to the table, and we see right away they're making a push for that front theater entrance. A couple members going upstairs, but Red Rover, just classic Red Rover things, not letting any of them over. Picking up 2 right off the break. Logic going down, Revenge going down as well, not able to find revenge for himself as Doggy chases Red Rover all the way down, but exposing himself in the process.
The thing is, Red Rover already picked up 2 kills, so even though the defensive spawn is a little bit farther away, he got 2 in the time it took them to kill only him. And as a result, it's essentially the kill score is now 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. And that very easily means the Explorers can regroup. And we basically see a fight across this first little What is this? Like a gateway without a gate? Ooh,
It's like a gate. Yeah, with the statue right in front.
Yeah, there's like no callouts yet for Overwatch. Red Rover though, we saw him take that teleport up, so he's behind enemy lines once again. We might actually want to just go to individual camera to see what he's doing, because he's gotten himself a kill so far, but he might be in trouble.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's drawing the attention of 3 members of the Zerglings, and Noctis actually finally does find him. But that's a decent amount of time that they have to spend tracing down Red Rover, but finally comes the push coming in from the Zerglings. But Ragulith actually holding on to that Transcendence at just the right time, but the counter engage with the sound barrier does come in. The Zerglings rushing the objective right now, trying to find a way in. Objective is ticking slowly. Galestorm in the middle of them, and that's 3 members of the Explorers falling. Make that 4 as the Zerglings just rush onto the objective, looking to activate the payload.
Yeah, I think Maze Explorers got a little bit greedy there. They only had Zenyatta as their healer, and Zenyatta as the single healer really isn't that effective for a squad. And we saw really, once the members of the Zerglings were basically able to run over, kill, or basically force out the Transcendence, and once Transcendence was down, the Explorers just got run over. And now, that was a pretty fast take. It looks like D.Va Zerglings will be pushing this payload uncontested, but Red Rover once again is going for a backline assassination.
Yeah, we see him making his way back there. Nobody dropping quite just yet, as he actually does run out of ammo, forced to jump out of there. The members of Zerglings still holding together pretty tight, though. They're ignoring Red Rover for right now. He's not necessarily in a position where he can really cause too much damage. This payload's marching in very slowly.
Yeah, Piscator, if you kill someone and then ignore the assassin that's trying to harass you and you stay grouped, he can't really do much, and it's essentially like a 4v6 or a 5v6. And the Zerglings are using that to their advantage to keep pushing this. And Maze Explorers haven't really done much here.
Yeah, Doggy actually found a decent flank onto the members of the Explorers, and they're split up. But Domo does find a kill onto them. The payload pressure is still in favor of it. Yangvin and Domo on the backline here, but the Lucia ult's coming out. Gonna keep the members of the Zerglings pretty healthy right here. A couple of kills getting traded back, and Red Rover going absolutely nuts. A triple kill for the Reaper, and he's still looking for more before he goes down to the hands of Doggy. And these Explorers, they took their time with it, but they finally fought off the members of D.Va Zerglings.
Yeah, so the question is now, after that great team fight, can they maintain this position here? None of the Zerglings are on the payload, which means it will slowly start to push back. However, we do see ultimates on both teams, so we might see another big team fight here. Oh, nice pick though. Revenge going down. Yangtime picking up the kill. Switching onto Tracer action. Kakisho going for huge ultimate.
Oh my god! Triple
Wow.
kill for Kakisho!
Jeez.
This
That
guy's
was,
pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, that's going to be a push coming out of the Zerglings, even though they did lose a decent amount of their members. And burning 2 ultimates there in order to get, well, essentially nothing there. It's going to make it so much easier for the Explorers to push them off of this.
Yeah, you can see how far the Explorers are pushing out. Kakisho is feeling super confident on this far. Might see some 1v1 duels between Revenge and Kakisho, but I think at this point, Kakisho definitely has the claim to being the better hero in the air. As of right now, Ephraim, look how far they're being pushed back, Piscator. This is really not that good for the Zerglings. They need to get some ground here, because otherwise, the Explorers are just going to keep wasting this time.
I mean, in the last push, we saw the Zerglings push that payload all the way up into that point, but if we remember anything about the Explorers' last game, it's that when it comes to this checkpoint, they can stop it just before. But whoa, that's a big set of kills coming through. 4 down on behalf of the Explorers. Red Rover doing what he can to stall it out, but this should be an uncontested checkpoint. I don't really think Yangtime can go 1v5 against them, and no, he doesn't. That payload gonna hit the checkpoint. 5 minutes left on the clock for the Zerglings to work with them. Maze Explorers looking to explore all their options at this point.
Yeah, so it takes the Zerglings 5 minutes to make it to the last checkpoint. Let's see if they can close the game out. They do have quite a bit of time, and like you said, the Explorers really need to find some better options to stifle this defense. But you said Kakisho, he went actually in behind it. A sound barrier was forced out from Sierra Kanik. No kills going over to either side just yet. The sound barrier in retaliation, though. This could be another big kill. Kakisho going back up. He is discorded. Yangtime gets pinned down.
Yangtime actually goes down to a suicide of his own, but that's Red Rover going big with a triple kill of his own, and Domo picking up 1 as well. That's 4 members on behalf of the Zerglings down. Doggy is ulted as the Winston right now, but that's going to expire, and he's forced into that side room with 3 members of the Explorers currently chasing him down. Just trying to buy a little bit of time. The members of the Zerglings are up and at it, however. They should be able to make a concerted push as 5.
So I want to say the payload is basically equidistant now to both spawn points. So it's basically a matter of whoever wins the fight and can maintain more heroes on the payload. Time has been ticking down, and the Explorers have done a decent job of protecting it so far. But Red Rover and Kakisho recently have died, so this is a numerical advantage at the moment, at least for the Zerglings. They're going to look to push here.
Yeah, they're looking to cash in on it with Doggy taking the front line right here. And it looks like Logic actually finds a kill. Zenyatta rather, versus a Junkrat, and then Frame actually just dies right to the back. Domo doing what he can to fight them off, and Revenge and Red Rover in a 1v1. Thera versus Reaper. Nothing quite equating there, as it looks like the Zerglings are still pushing this payload forward. The Explorers back on the respawn, however, but Revenge and Noctis pick up another 2. They're just rolling through the Explorers right now.
Yeah, the Explorers did go down. Oh, that Earth Shatter is only going to hit Regulith, who will actually get taken down, though. However, a retaliation kill as Galestorm will pick up Ephraim. 1 sound barrier, though, in favor of the Zerglings here. Can they make this push and end the game here? There's the ultimate coming out of Revenge. There's going to be a lot of damage, and that they will actually kill the Rhino. This could be the game.
Yeah, staggered respawns for the Explorers, and a couple of them come up, but 3 of them are still down at this point. The sound barrier to buy themselves a little bit of time, and it does look like 3 more of the Explorers actually go down, and the rest of the Zerglings are just rushing right through. 6 pool or not, the Zerglings have taken this payload in a pretty decisive manner.
Yeah, I want to say that game was 7 minutes and 29 seconds long, if my math is not mistaken me. And as we look at this play of the game, it's going to be Revenge, and let me guess. It was, he pressed the Q button, didn't he? No, it looks like actually... He doesn't even have ultimate.
That was a ground level triple.
Nice rockets there. And they will pick up the kill on Kakisho. This was how they ended the game. Play of the game there from Revenge. And look at the damage he did. 15,000 damage nearly. That is a ridiculously well done job by Farah. But actually, it looks like Noctis going to be getting the most of the votes here. With 4 gold medals and 5 medals total. He was definitely doing work for his team.
Right, and we were talking so much about how Maze Explorers look so good. They took down the previous team, the Vandals, pretty decisively, but this really going to show that we've only really seen the very tip top of the iceberg. Like, we've only seen like a picture of the top of the iceberg.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of gameplay yet to come.
Really, those were the first 2 teams we've ever seen in the ORC. So, you know, for all we know, Maze Explorers could have been the 2nd worst team, and the Vandals were the worst team. But I don't actually think that's the case. You know, that game took 7 minutes. All right, I'm not trying to fire so many shots. I'm just trying to explain myself. But with a 7-minute and 28-second game, you know, we definitely saw Maze Explorers, when they were on offense, do much better. So maybe it's just a matter of them being a more offensively oriented team.
Yeah. But it does look like we're getting ready for the second side of this game. Looks like a couple of the members got confused as to how the side swap actually worked. So it looks like we may be looking for a remake coming through. We're going to be waiting on confirmation of that. No real fun in playing a 4v6.
Yeah, it looks like we will be going to a remake just because some players were a little bit confused. Just due to time constraints, hopefully we won't have to remake every single time. But of course, again, this is the first week that we've actually been casting the ORC, and the first week we've actually been playing in the ORC. So to a certain extent, these sort of growing pains might be a little bit expected, even if a little bit painful.
I mean, it's a lot of fun being on the ground level of building a new esports. I know Blizzard has big plans, or at least I'm pretty sure they have big plans for Overwatch. Why wouldn't
I would hope
this
so.
This is a game that caters so well to viewers and players alike. But like as a community, because it really is the heart and the passion of the competitive community that drives these esports to begin with. And my soapbox is getting bigger and bigger. I should just
continue.
stand up even. And we must come together as a community to fight as one. We are the Overwatch. Like, we're all crying right now.
Yeah, so, you know, off the soapbox a little bit. Seriously, though, we really do hope. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we threw the ORC. That's why we're going to try and improve every week on not only our casting, but our production, and hopefully see some better games. But it really is something that I think esports as a whole, like in the world, is just kind of getting a bigger, like it's getting bigger and better, and Overwatch has a lot of promise. So that's the reason why we've really been throwing these games. And just as one of the admins myself, as well as a caster, I really hope you guys do enjoy. Now, with that being said, that last game, Maze Explorers might have not enjoyed that too much. We'll see whether or not they actually are an offensive team and whether or not they can beat the time of 7 minutes and 28 seconds that their enemies, the Zerglings, brought on, because that is a decent amount of time.
Yeah, especially considering how aggressive they like to play their offense side. I think what really worked well in the Explorers versus Vandals match is the fact that the Vandals played pretty passively on both sides of the map, so it really was something that the Explorers were able to exploit. But right now we saw that the Zerglings, they're keeping true to their name, playing super aggressively, at least from the offensive side.
Well,
and again, we'll have to see how their defense holds up.
Piscator, you have to consider the game rewards you for being aggressive because the teams that are doing more damage build meter faster. Which makes it pretty fun just because it's, unlike some other games that exist, the game will always be very fast-paced. There will always be a lot of fighting, and that just, as far as gameplay is concerned, so long as it's followable, and I guess perhaps a better spectator client would do a little bit more as far as that's concerned, but as long as it's enjoyable to watch, the game is really, really exciting. And, I do think that these two teams, because they're so aggressive, are going to be showing us some more exciting games. And we do see, look at this Widowmaker. Domo, can he pick anyone off here? I want to take a look actually at his camera as we go, because Widowmaker offensively played on King's Row is actually pretty common. Well, it looks like he might actually switch here. Oh,
interesting. Gonna sit here forever.
Yep, maybe.
Oh, actually going for the Tracer.
Curious, yep. And Red Rover, he is on Reaper again. So both Tracer and Reaper can function as those sort of backline assassin threats. That's what we might be seeing here.
But it looks like, consistent to how they've been playing, the Explorers off to a pretty aggressive start, with Domo actually looking for a flank. Actually manages to time warp all the way back into the theater, but Noctis the one to draw first blood here on the Hanzo pickup, actually. We haven't seen a Hanzo come out in competitive in, well, I haven't seen it ever.
Yeah, so he was able to pick up that first blood there. Is now dueling Domo Very on Tracer. Jump backwards, scattershot, data missed. However, he is back onto the point, and Noctis picks up a kill onto Domo. Some really great shots, and Red Rover is like in a 1v6, man. You got to get out of here. This is looking good, at least right now.
That's where he likes to be, and now they've completely forgotten about Red Rover. Galestorm now taking frontline, but the rest of the team, the Explorers, actually a bit split up. But Ragulith actually picks up one on the entrance. The rest of the members of the Zerglings now on a bit of a defense, and here comes the sound barrier. This should be the Explorers' time to push. Yang Time picking up one, the Hanzo ult coming out to zone, but it doesn't look like it does a whole lot as the Explorers just charge right onto the objective.
That pin onto the Roadhog there, very nice from Galestorm, as he is able to zone the enemies off, and far going down. This could be the first point taken.
It's ticking up, down to 2 ticks already. Great Graviton Surge. Kakisho picking up a couple with that. And within a minute and 20 seconds, that's the payload being activated.
And surprisingly enough, I think that's the first Zarya we've seen, or at least the most effective so far, because even though the ultimate actually didn't hit anything, Graviton Surge is great because you can zone out those choke points. And now that the Maze Explorers have pushed on the payload so quickly, they're getting stragglers from the Zerglings down here. Soldier and Roadhog a little bit cut out, though. And this could be very, very good for the Explorers.
Yeah, now they really seem to be in a position where they're comfortable. They're able to get control of the objective. They're looking for these aggressive flanks like they've done time and time again throughout the, I guess, the first day of the ORC. But Red Rover just doing classic things. The Death Blossom and the shield to come in to shield him up. And Kakisho and Red Rover, the duo picks up 2 with Yang Time cleaning up damage in the back as well. And look at this. The Explorers just pushing them all the way through. The Zerglings pushed all the way back. If any of you play StarCraft, this is not how you play Zerg.
No, this is not. This is certainly not what the Zerglings had planned for, I'd expect either.
Silver
but
level Protoss.
This is, as a silver level player, yeah, this is pretty silver. That being said, though, there is still a lot of game to be played. 7 minutes and a half, to be precise, if the defense works. It doesn't look like the defense is working right now. Revenge using his ultimate there, but it's really not going to get anyone, only one member, and as a result, he is trying to get back. Oh, that Earth Shatter not hitting either. Divas, Zerglings, they're in trouble, Piscator. They're in a lot of trouble here.
Look at this map and how it's set up right now. For about 20 solid seconds, the Zerglings were completely forced back into their spawn zone, and this payload was able to go through the first 2 turns of this warehouse. It's so tricky to get through because of all the little places they can hide, and Galestorm still with the shield throwing up the flame strikes to keep the enemies zoned. And the Explorers right now,
Sound
massive
barriers.
push right here with the sound barrier coming out. Domo picks up the first one, and they're causing mayhem. The Earth Shatter comes through, but nobody dropping quite just yet as the ultimate from Logic comes out to keep them alive for a little bit. Payload frozen for now, as it looks like the Zerglings are starting to push back bit by bit. They picked up 3, they picked up 4. They're charging forward for Yang Time, and Yang Time now, I believe, the only one left up. Red Rover somewhere doing Red Rover things by himself, but that Yang Time finally going down. Successful defense by the Zerglings
of that team fight was absolutely Logic, who not only had a fantastic Transcendence, but then also was able to be involved in 4 out of the kills that his team got there, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very well done, but Piscator, remember, there are still at least, actually, there's probably just about 3.5 more minutes to be played, because the game was ended in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It is stopwatch time. Oh, geez, Red Rover got 3 kills. This is bad. This is a 3v6 now. This is fantastic for the Explorers.
But then again, the Zerglings do spawn pretty close here. Galestorm picks up 1, and that's going to stagger their respawns for a bit, and Revenge going down without taking down anybody from that missile barrage. But a big Graviton Surge coming out. If they can chain this, they can buy themselves a little bit more time. But Kakisho and Gang Time just charging forward. Big ult coming out of Logic to keep the fight going for a little bit longer, but can they fight this off, Seamoose?
I don't know if they can. Ephraim using his ultimate there, but he's not going to be able to pick up any kills, and this is going to be really close. Still contesting the point.
They have the sound barrier on them. The Zerglings are fighting them up for now. And the offending team, they don't have the tankiness to quite deal with this. But Red Rover still causing havoc. Revenge trades 1 back. These are big kills. There's 2 for Revenge. The rest of the Zerglings are up right now. They're fighting off the Explorers on the point. Just a few more ticks they have to get forward. Domo finally up from the respawn. Galestorm shoving the rest of the Zerglings back, but they're still fighting neck and neck over this. This game of tug and war is going absolutely nuts.
The defensive spot is so close to the payload that the Zerglings keep getting more and more members. They're actually Zerg rushing the Explorers. They somehow managed to defend this. But the thing is, there are still 2 full minutes for the Explorers to win this game. They're going to want to group up, find their ultimates, and find some picks. You can see Red Rover. He is looking for something sneaky, but they have to play this perfectly.
Yeah, they have 3 ultimates available on behalf of the Explorers. That Zarya ult can come in absolutely clutch.
Oh, here comes Red Rover. Oh, good. There goes Red Rover.
Defensive kills. That's absolutely big for the Zerglings right now. The rest of the Explorers still a little bit hesitant to push in. They want to chain these just in time. Domovaria now has the ultimate up. If he finds a big sticky bomb, this could be big for the Explorers, but right now, this Zerglings putting on such an aggressive defense. The payload slowly inching backwards, Seamoose.
Yep. Ephraim has taken a little bit of time, so his shield's going to be up, but here comes the Graviton Surge. That's going to be
Graviton Surge. Can they chain it though? Big Earth Shatter coming out as well, and that's 3. That is 4. That is 5 down. Count them with me, ladies and gentlemen. A clean sweep on behalf of the Explorers, and just in time, they managed to finish them off right there. The Wombo combo was too much. Zerglings go down game 1.
You know, as a fan of Super Smash Bros. Melee, I told myself I would never, ever misrepresent the word Wombo Combo, but that was by all means a perfect Graviton Surge into Earth Shatter. Amazing! We're going to see the sticky bomb. That was so well done. The Graviton Surge hit 4 members, and we saw
Triple Quadra Solo!
Oh my god. And all 6 members, excuse me, of the Explorers there were on fire. Well deserved, because that game was an amazing example of Overwatch team play. Holy crap.
That game was spicy.
I need some water. I need
pour water over myself after that one.
I need a fan or something, man. That was actually so crazy.
Okay. Okay, so We're in the
Okay.
best of 3 in the finals
Yeah.
of the first blah, blah. English is so hard after that one. For the first week of the Overwatch regional clash. And already we're seeing teams go absolutely nutty. Like, this is why I love collegiate esports, because college, it's a rowdy time. Everybody, wants to flex their muscles and stuff. And then it just translates to esports. That got really, like, sensual all of a sudden. I didn't really mean for it to go in that direction. But still, just that energy of collegiate esports is really unique.
Yeah, it's collegiate esports, certainly a lot of trash talking. I know there's a lot of rivalries, and as a result, there's a lot of crazy high energy games. And this first match in this best of 3 series definitely delivered on that front.
But then again, with high energy, the players do need a bit of a break. In addition to us casters, I think we're going to go get throat surgery in the 2 minutes that we have. But ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. That was a crazy first game between Vs Explorers and D.Va Zerglings. We'll be right back for game 2 to happen. Don't go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Regional Clash. My name is Simus. I am joined by Piscator, and we are back in the grand finals of this week between Vs Explorers and D.Va Zerglings.
And the first game started off. At first, we're like, Vs Explorers. Maybe we were singing them to high praises, calling them to win the championship after one series on stream. Maybe it was a little too early because we saw the Zerglings push very, very hard on that first round of King's Row. But then again, we saw Vs Explorers come back, slap me right across the face, and show us one of the sickest Overwatch combos with the Graviton Surge, the Earth Shatter, and then everybody else just raining in afterwards with the Sticky Bomb as well. It was nuts.
Yeah, that pulse bomb. I mean, just the entire combination. That's really what Overwatch is about. It's about the big, hype team plays. And this first game, we did see Vs Explorers win. But honestly, Piscator, both offensive teams made the checkpoint, brought it to the final point. And it was a close game.
Mm-hmm. It was really close. And both of the teams, we saw them really show their kind of color or style of play, and both of them are very, very aggressive teams. And it seems like Vs Explorers were able to capitalize on their attacking round just a little bit better,
right?
As it looks like actually in the process of remaking the lobby, but better to do this now than when we actually start the game. But yeah, that first game was great.
It was it was super, super close. I mean, the issue with stopwatch, at least as a format is concerned, it's occasionally hard to tell how close a game was. Take it from us, that first map was super, super close. But, that just makes me more excited for the second game and this second map. We are going to be going to Watchpoint Gibraltar, and it looks like it's going to be the Explorers on defense and D.Va Zerglings on offense first.
Right, and this map is probably one of the longest maps in terms of actual average game time, because you have 3 checkpoints before you get to the end. It starts off as payload, so progression can start immediately as opposed to making that first initial push onto a capture point to activate. So I wonder how these 2 very aggressive teams are going to handle it on this side, because we know somebody like Yangtime very comfortable pulling out that Widowmaker to get the snipes, and on Gibraltar, a lot of angles to hit.
Especially the first point for offense or defense. There are a ton of angles and a lot of open spaces you can see from the loading screen. And one thing that's actually pretty interesting is the fact that the offense gets a small advantage in that, the mirror, for any of you who haven't played yet, the mirror on the offensive spawn that overlooks the first checkpoint is actually one-sided. So we might see...
Wait, what?
Yeah, did you not know that?
I never go up there. I play Junkrat. I can't make it up there.
Bro, you gotta check that stuff out. The defense can't look through it, but the offense actually can, which means they can get some information on what the defense is playing and perhaps switch to that accordingly.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm staring at it right now. Today I learned. We're learning together.
The more you know.
Overwatch regional class stream. Oh, boy.
We can hear the production stuff.
They're looking at it as
well.
None
of you guys, I didn't know that, guys. But
definitely the big thing to look out on this map is the opening kills, because on maps like King's Row, if somebody goes down early on, especially if you're on the attacking side, it's not that big of a deal, especially because the spawn point is so close. But this, if you're on defense, you die, your team is in so much trouble because you have to walk so far.
Yeah, the fact that the respawns are pretty far away from the points of contention is going to be very, very important. And just as a heads up before we get into the game, the stopwatch timer, it's only going to count the first and second checkpoint. We are being told that, so just keep that in mind. And here we go. It looks like the Zerglings are all grouped up on this far exit, and they are coming out fast.
Yeah, this is a huge bot stack. It looks like they're able to capitalize with the element of surprise. No kills dropping just yet. Members of the Explorers do not want to drop any players right now, but they do drop Domo, one of their main DPS players. Red Rover doing his best to get to the backline again, but on a map this wide open, a lot trickier to get access.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is Revenge has been able to do a lot of damage unanswered. Doggy was able to keep Canik alive, and this is a really strong push for the Zerglings so far.
Yeah, they might make it to this first checkpoint pretty uncontested.
Yeah.
Yangtime just sitting back there actually finally gets picked off right there. Lots of symmetric turrets in there. Doesn't even matter though.
Regulith hasn't been able to get his teleport up yet, and the fact that this first checkpoint was taken so fast bodes really poorly for the Maze Explorers, because the Zerglings haven't lost any momentum so far.
Looks like Ephraim is shoving away Kakisho. We've seen Kakisho be very successful when it comes to finding that kind of disturbance, but Galestorm, the reliable frontline tank, has gone down, so that's going to stall the defense of the Explorers a lot more.
It looks like Kakisho's forced to go away as well. He's in his pilot form, no longer mech, and that's going to be the second objective taken. Yangtime gets a kill onto Canik, but now this offensive spawn is going to be so close to the point, the defense can't stay here much longer.
Yeah, the defense got staggered to respawns because some came up before the checkpoint was activated, so we saw them come out actually behind the enemy team. Revenge taking advantage of that staggered spawn, picking up Yangtime. It's like Galestorm. We've seen Galestorm so many times just sitting right in front of the team, fearless to go in. But Red Rover looks for a flank, but gets earth shattered right to the face. These flanks not working out this time, and Galestorm actually replies with an earth shatter of his own. Domo chains it with Wrong. Ragu picks up another one as well before Galestorm finally goes down, but it looks like the Zerglings are gonna have none of it as Noctis rolls right in, finding 3, looking for the 4th onto Kakisho, but forcing that Zarya back regardless. This payload still marching forward.
A teleporter has been set up, but it looks like the teleporter immediately going down as well. The Zerglings have managed to maintain position on this payload for so long. They're actually getting close to this 3rd checkpoint now. However, the fact of the matter is that ults aren't really up for either side, so it's just going to be pure gunplay from this point on out.
Yeah, right now, finally, it looks like the Zerglings are able to stack up together. The Explorers still push back a little bit, split off them from how they typically are. Domo still looking for a flank on that Tracer. Kakisho just trying to soak damage and draw attention in the front. Red Rover actually switching over for, I believe, the first time in this entire series to that jump grab. But big Graviton Surge coming out, and Zerglings looking to capitalize in revenge. Doggy and Noctis go absolutely huge. 4 kills coming out, and the defensive ult from Doggy, Kakisho rather, falls just a little bit short, and they get it to that last checkpoint. They're looking to end this game so fast.
Graviton Surge is just so good at setting up combination plays. We saw it in the first series for the Explorers, and now we saw it by the Zerglings. The Graviton Surge was answered by Kakisho, but it was after his team had already died. The Zerglings now have 7.5 minutes to work with. This is such a fast push.
And Logic just had his ultimate come out, so that Resurrect is available for them to pop at any time. But on the flip side, it looks like the Explorers have 3 ultimates of their own. Yangtime can now exploit this wide open area for that soldier aimbot. Kisho taking frontline duty right here, but a big ultimate coming out. Yangtime picking up a couple right there. Domo getting a stick onto F-Frame, and that's 4 members of the Zerglings down. Doggy now all by himself, not able to do the damage he's quite looking for, and Logic has finally actually just burned that Resurrect, but Domo and the rest of them is still sweeping up the members of the Zerglings. Maze Explorers, they're not out of this quite yet.
That being said, though, I'm pretty sure the Explorers used more ultimates than we saw the Zerglings use, and whoa, what are you doing? Kakisho is going super aggressive here, so he can keep his shield charge and energy up. That's not a terrible idea, but the thing is, if he gets caught out, that could be really bad. Right now, though, on the backside, Domo Variant is still harassing the members of the Zerglings for as well as he can, and the Explorers have found some ground. The question is, at this point, Piscator, can they keep it?
Yeah, the ultimate being popped by the Zerglings. They're looking for an aggressive push, but so much of the time was wasted just making that initial walk forward. Noctis raining down hell from above with that soldier ultimate, but it doesn't look like it picks up anybody quite just yet. So a lot of investment made into this push, not really paying off quite just yet, and it looks like the Explorers still looking to fight back. Doggy, however, finally gains position on front of the payload, picking up the support. Kakisho now forced all the way back. Galestorm in the middle of all of them, no team to follow up, and Ephraim makes short work of him.
This is really, really good for the Zerglings. They have the ultimate resurrect available. They're picking off members of the Explorers one by one by one. Kisho now in huge trouble. Revenge using his ultimate Graviton Surge coming out, but again, it's just too late, Piscator. This is going to be a very, very strong push for the Explorers.
Yeah, the Zerglings, whenever they throw down the Graviton Surge, they manage to pick up 2 kills like we saw right there. But the defensive Graviton Surge is coming out of the Explorers. We saw them wombo combo so well and chain their ultimates perfectly in the previous game, but right now, it seems like they're a little bit out of sync with each other as this payload looking to find its home. Galestorm actually finds a couple of big kills right there, but he's in the middle of a couple of damage dealers on behalf of the Zerglings. Kakisho, however, finds a little bit more life within his team. Ephraim finds a charge to the back, taking down the support. This could be the push that the Zerglings are looking for. Ephraim picks up 2. Revenge on the top. Graviton Surge to peel back the members of the Zerglings, buying Explorers a little bit more time, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. Nobody quite close enough. Zerglings, they end it right here.
And Diva Zerglings in a very, very fast game. 6:07 on Watch Point Gibraltar. We're gonna see the play of the game here from Doggy. Yeah, this is probably that fantastic Graviton Surge into the bar of Barrage. Just look at how much damage is coming out. And he gets behind the shield too. The shield damage is great, but just look at that. That is pure, unadulterated, just wombo combo play. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. And Kakisho had an average of 53 energy that game. So both Zaryas really doing well, but of course, the epic card going in favor of Doggy off the back of that Zarya play. You know, Zarya is a pretty strong hero, Piscator.
Yeah, this purple-haired lady definitely somebody you don't want to mess with. And it's not just the fact that Doggy managed to pick up 18 elims. It's the fact that 12 of them were picked up right on the objective itself. So, I mean, remember, for all of you, those who may get beta access in the future, you need to actually sit on the darn payload in order to win the game. Kills don't get you W's. Sit on the thing, because Doggy did a really good job.
So it looks like we might actually have a remake because one of the players was booted, and I know we've said it throughout the entire night, and I do apologize. That is one of the issues of having a beta, but we will get to the second half. Now they're going to swap sides. This is still part of the second match of this best-of-3 series. It all depends on whether or not Maze Explorers can win the game faster than the Zerglings did. If the Maze Explorers win that map in less than 6:07, then they win the series. Otherwise, Piscator, if they lose, or if they win the game after 6:07, we're going to a Game 3.
The Game 3, our first Game 3 of the Overwatch Regional Clash. Looks like the next players, we are setting up the new lobby as we speak. But we gotta kind of harken back a little bit to the previous game in this series and talk about how we were so impressed by how Diva Zerglings played their offensive side so aggressively. And we're like, oh man, that was like such a quick cap. They played the map so well. How could Maze Explorers possibly beat that time? And then we saw them chain the sickest ultimates of all time and, you know, beat that time. So even though the Zerglings were able to take this Gibraltar map in 6:07, I would love to see a repeat of the Explorers coming back and just proving us, like, making us even more impressed with their even quicker time, because 6:07 on Gibraltar is incredibly fast.
Yeah, Gibraltar is the longest map, if I'm not mistaken, just in terms of it has 3 checkpoints, then an end cap point, or a payload point, I should say. It's And again, as far as the splits you guys are seeing on the screen is concerned, we're now going to be showing you the time it takes for the teams to push through the first 2 doors. There's 2 major doors in Gibraltar, 3 major checkpoints. There's the first checkpoint under the hill. There's the first door when you go into the shuttle hangar, and then there's the third door, or third checkpoint, I should say, second door when you exit the shuttle hangar. Those are the 3 major checkpoints, and just to make sure you guys could keep up with the time, we're going to be adjusting that a little bit. That being said, though, we might actually have to go to a break because it does seem like one of the players is actually having some serious connection difficulties, but we will see.
Yeah, we're going to give Galestorm, I believe it's the last person we're looking for. We're going to go to a quick, I believe, 2-minute break, and when we come back, we are looking to have the second round of Watchpoint Gibraltar between Vs Explorers and Diva Zerglings start off for you guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch Regional Clash, where we are going into the second side of Watchpoint Gibraltar. That first side taken by Diva's, oh my gosh, what was it? Diva Zerglings! I remembered it! In 6 minutes and 7 seconds, Vs Explorers have to bounce back and take it in less than that time to ensure a 2-0 sweep. And we're starting into game 2 right now.
Yep, so game number 2 underway. We now know that Watchpoint Gibraltar does offer that tiny little advantage to the offense because they can see through that that window at the top of the offensive spawn.
Only they can see through. I don't know if you knew that, Seamus.
Wow, Piscator, you sound so knowledgeable about this game, man.
I totally knew that, and I've only had beta for... I should.
You should.
I mean, I've only had this beta for 5 months.
Yeah,
how did I not know that?
I don't know, man. To be fair, for 1.5 months of those months, you couldn't play.
That's right. I keep forgetting about that.
But, that time is behind us. Yeah, well, to be fair, we're also lucky enough to actually be in the beta. I'm sure there are at least a couple of viewers who might not have that fortune. That being said, though, we're all smiles here. We're all hyped. We're hyped for this second map, or second half of the map, I should say. And as far as compositions are concerned, no Symmetra this time for the defending Zerglings. That's something the Explorers tried to pull off on the first half of this map, but wasn't really effective.
Yeah, this is a bold move, Cotton, especially considering that if you die on defense this early on, I mean, not having that TP available to walk all the way back, or to prevent walking all the way back, gonna bite into a massive chunk of time. But then again, looks like the Zerglings are going with a pretty aggressive composition here because they know they only have to hold out the Explorers for 6 minutes and 7 seconds. You can't see the checkpoint timers on your screen right now, but those are, as a matter of fact, they're just irrelevant because the Explorers have to end this game in under 6:07. And in 3 seconds, we're about to get started with the second side of this map.
3 DPS, 1 support, and 2 tanks is the composition from the Zerglings, and they're out of the gate.
Like this time, the Explorer is not going for that bot side rush that the Zerglings went for the first time. No kills being dropped just yet, as it looks like Red Rover's still looking for a flank. Domo, however, picking up first blood is Noctis. Actually, an A-frame pickup of 2 of the pushing members. But right now on defense, if you're dropping members, that's definitely not the position you want to be in, as the Explorer is making a very aggressive push forward. Kakisho on the payload. Doggy, however, finding his way to cut off the respawners. There's blood all over the place already.
And the offensive side is just going to be respawning faster. Red Rover has position on Soldier. Domo Baron coming around, going to be looking to put damage onto Doggy. And even though Ephraim and Doggy and Kotnik are doing as much as they possibly can, they are pincered right now. This is kind of problematic for the defense, and they're just going to have to try and find as many kills as possible if they want to stay in this position.
Yeah, it looks like Red Rover actually finally does go down as Ragulith manages to find a kill. Galestorm on the front looking to push this payload forward, but the defensive ultimate from the Lucio does come out. Ephraim shoving him all the way back. He found Red Rover all the way back at the cave.
Red Rover,
back
Reinhardt. That is pretty good, but the thing is, Sound Barrier coming in now with the offensive side. Main Explorers are going to be able to push this. The question is, how much distance can they get? And they're definitely going to be able to get the first checkpoint, I feel like. But no one's on the payload right now.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of forgot about it. They're like, oh, I'm on backline, I'm on backline. They're like, oh, we actually have to jump on this. Yep. I mean, already they're taking this at a pretty decent tick, but the fact of the matter is, this is still something like, I don't know, 40 seconds or 60 seconds slower then the Zerglings were able to take the first checkpoint, so
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they don't have a whole lot of time to work with.
Oh, there goes the Graviton Surge. Only onto Kanik, though. Kanik actually managing to stay alive. Logic with a huge blow on the backside. Fantastic play by the Pharah player for the Explorers. Oh my goodness, that was a great player.
The 4 members dropping on behalf of the Explorers is going to stifle this offensive push even more. Now that the Zerglings are back in a position where they can set up camp, Pershing has this sound barriers up at this moment, so they can make a pretty aggressive defensive push they're wanting to do. We see a lot of teams do this with the Lucio ult, just go in for the fight because you know you'll have the advantage.
Every found Red Rover again, and the sound barrier coming out. Yisho is going to be going in, but the thing is, they're so squishy compared to the huge HP of the enemy team. But Ragul down with his own sound barrier. And then when the fight of the Earth Shatter
oh, that's big!
Kill.
Big 3 coming up with the Graviton Surge may be enough to swing the tide in this fight. Doesn't look like any members of the Explorers were quite finished off just yet, as Regulith and Galestorm managed to shove that checkpoint, or that payload rather, to the second checkpoint.
The Explorers are actually doing this in a fairly fast time. I'm not sure whether or not they're beating the time of the Zerglings right now, but they are doing really well so far.
Still have about 3 minutes left, lots of ingredients to cook with, and Yang Time actually finds a pretty big kill onto Revenge, but Noctis and Revenge both find 1 each before they finally go down. Red Rover with a traditional flank of his own with Kakisho providing some chaos as well. This payload moving slowly forward. Galestorm hops off, hops back on, looking for Logic right here. As Logic in the middle of so many members of the Explorer, but somehow still makes it out alive.
Yeah, Red Rover switching to Reaper. He was in Soldier for a little bit, but apparently didn't really work as well as he would. Black Doma Bear trying to go for something that did not have his pulse bomb available, isn't going to be able to find anything. But the thing is, the payload is still getting pushed forward right now. Here comes the Riptire. Can Revenge find anyone? No, it doesn't seem like he does. Yes, he's defending against Galestorm, and that is 3 down for the Zerglings.
Yeah, Red Rover finds 1, but having 3 members of your own team down at this crucial point in the game, they only have 2 minutes left in order to push this payload all the way to the very end. We've seen big plays come out, but that Lucio sound barrier going to make things so much more difficult for the Explorers. They're pretty split up at this moment. Red Rover ships walking away in order to avoid damage, and Kakisho looking for a play here, does have the ultimate, may look to zone with it right here. Just hit Q, that's all you have to do. Hit Q, hit Q, hit Q. Hit Q!
It looks like he's flying away. Now he's going to use it. Can it land onto anyone, though? I don't think so. Line of sight no longer in favor of Kisho, but the Explorers have been pushing while this fight was delayed. That being said, though, they're now at a numbers disadvantage. I'm not sure if they can actually find any ground here. It looks like no, Ephraim and Co. will be able to push them off the payload. So this is the timer running lower and lower in favor of the Divas Zerglings, and another Lucio sound barrier coming out. This is looking really, really good for the defense.
Yeah, the defense, I don't know if the offense... Red Rover coming in right in the middle of them! Finds a 3-man with the Death Blossom. This may be just enough for the Explorers to make one final push. Looking at the clock right now, they have less than a minute to work with. I'm not entirely sure if they can roll with it, even if they manage to march forward this payload at the maximum pace. The members of the Zerglings already up and spawned. I mean, Explorers have to go absolutely massive here.
Yeah, they have to keep pushing. They cannot lose a single fight. They cannot be stifled. As it is right now, they are slowly pushing. The Riptire is going to come in. Can Revenge land onto anyone? He might hit Galestorm. He's going to hit Red Rover, but Red Rover shifts away. However, he does kill the Reinhardt. I think this just might be it, Piscator. Red Rover and Yang Time and Ragulith alone on the payload. Ragulith is going to get caught out here. He is going to use a sound barrier. But the thing is, they don't even need to win the fight. They only need to delay it. And
and with just about 15 seconds left on the clock, it doesn't look like this one is going to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, we saw 2-0 sweep in the first series of the semifinals. It looks like we are finally going to a Game 3 between Maze Explorers and Diva Zerglings on the first week of the Overwatch Regional Clash.
And what an exciting best-of-3 series we have had so far. And I'm pretty sure this third game is definitely going to be exciting as well. We are going to leave the lobby and remake so we can get into this third and final game. Piscator, do we know what map it is? Because I'm pretty sure it's Kings Row, correct?
We played Kings Row first, we played Gibraltar, now we're going to Umbani.
Umbani, okay. Umbani, we haven't seen that yet in the ORC, and that is a map that is favored by a lot of competitive players, so that's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, a map that stays pretty consistent throughout the entire way, except for those little openings when you get to the actual objective points.
Yeah,
they cater towards.
I was just gonna say it has a lot of balance. You know, there's certainly some rooms, but there's also most of the map is very wide open, so a lot of different kind of play styles can work there, if that makes sense.
Right, we've seen the aggressive styles of both teams pay very, very well, whether it's game 1 to the Explorers or game 2 going over to the Zerglings. But game 3, this is going to be the deciding factor. Who's going to walk away with 100 points in the first week of the Overwatch Regional Clash? We're going to go to a quick break for a minute or two to make sure all the players are up and ready to go. And ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, it'll be the final game in the finals of the Overwatch Regional Clash of week 1. Don't go anywhere.
See you guys then.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the final game of Week 1 of the Overwatch Regional Clash. Vs Explorers took Game 1. Divas, oh my gosh, I forget the team name every time. Divas Zerglings came back and rushed through with a dominating Game 2 victory, but we are finally here for Game 3. I am Joshua Piscator Lee here alongside Seamus Seamoose Anderson. And for the final time tonight, we're on to Numbani.
Numbani, indeed. These teams are now playing for first place or second place. 100 circuit points or 60 circuit points. It all comes down to this. And because they lost, it looks like Vs Explorers decided to want to attack first. And if these heroes that are the hoverovers currently are going to stay, it looks like Logic might actually be running Symmetra for his team.
Definitely a hero that pays off pretty well on Numbani because there are like 17,000 different rooms you can put that TP into.
You counted 17,000. It's true.
I literally went through. I'm not super good at math, so I had to count on my fingers and like 3,500.
You have 17,000 fingers.
That's why I'm so good at Overwatch. My mechanics are off the freaking chart.
Joshua, I've seen you play Overwatch. I hate to break it to you.
You know what? I can report you for toxicity after this cast is over, so we'll just deal with that then.
Oh, boy.
Anyway. So it looks like you said, Vs Explorers are on the attack. They are a team that likes to push hard and very fast right off the rip. But we've seen Diva Zerglings shut that down very, very quickly on multiple occasions.
Yeah, both of these teams are basically going to go fast and furious, 1 through 6. Take your pick. With or without Chris Walker, no matter what happens, I expect to see very, very fast games when both of these teams are playing. So, you know, how exactly that plays out might be up to debate. Looks like Yangtime actually going to be going for Widowmaker. Can they find any quick picks here? Not really a huge front line from this Zergling squad, but Ephraim with a very nice shield there.
Kakisho actually going for the aggressive Roadhog here. Domo finds his way to the back, drawing the attention of many members of the Zerglings at this moment, as it looks like Yangtime still looking for a push. Doggy, the only one to really find a kill, actually finds 2 right here. How often do you see a Zarya find picks left and right on a map like Numbani? So far, Zerglings holding strong.
After her nerfs, people were thinking maybe she's not going to be that strong in competitive play anymore, but we've seen her used very often, and the Zerglings pick up another kill. That's now the 3rd kill in a row that they found unanswered, and there is still a host of traps. Logic has a ton of Symmetra turrets that haven't really been discovered yet, so pretty strong first minute of play in their favor.
And we see this is exactly where this map can start to blow wide open because there are so many angles and flanks at which the team can come through. Ephraim actually gets pushed off to the side by Galestorm. It's a hammer war. A Galestorm actually comes out on top in that. One member on behalf of each team down at the moment, but Doggy and Revenge find kills of their own. This defense on behalf of Diva Zerglings proving to be a lot.
Doggy picks up another kill. Doggy has the highest amount of eliminations in this game so far on Zarya.
Team? Ephraim actually finds the tanks are doing work on Numbani. You would think on a map with long sightlines and corridors like this, it's not really the tank that's going to do this much damage, but right now, it's the Doggy and the Ephraim show. Galestorm coming in, they managed to wait out the sound barrier for now. It looks like they're going to make a great push here. First Shatter coming out, but Doggy and Revenge managed to find both the tanks, and Noctis finds another one. Domo finds the sticky bomb. But Yangtime, not much you can do pushing as a Widowmaker by yourself. The Explorers completely push back again.
Yeah, earlier in this game, her Rover was able to find the teleporter, but the thing is, the Explorers decided that, or excuse me, the Zerglings decided that, you know what, if we don't die, we don't actually ever need that teleporter. And as a result, the Explorers are pushed back. Almost 2.5 minutes have passed, and they haven't gotten a third of this point just yet. This is looking like a very strong start for the Zerglings. So Revenge gets that kill into Yank time. And once again, a power play in favor of Diva's Zerglings.
Here we see again Red Rover going into the back, looking for picks right here, but he goes down to Logic, baited into the room by the Symmetra, and Logic actually picks up a double. How often do you see a Symmetra just light up the kill feed like that?
You know, Symmetra gets more kills than you'd expect. I gotta say, I haven't seen it that often, but I'm seeing it more and more now, especially after some of the other supports got nerfed. She's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. It really speaks to how well Logic is playing on the Symmetra, especially in a competitive setting where, I mean, people are generally a lot more communicative.
That's a good
looks
point.
like Kashiko, yeah, Kashiko doing classic Kashiko things, but King actually finds a sound barrier to keep this team fighting for a little bit longer, and Galestorm trying to do damage right here, but he's getting focused down by 3 members of the Zerglings. Logic and Noctis each picking up 1 on their own, and Galestorm in the middle of them, shield going down very shortly, and Maze Explorers just cannot find an entrance into this objective. They're already 3.5 minutes in, and they have 4.5 minutes rather. They have not taken a single tick.
Yeah, Domo Varen, even after finding that full spawn kill onto Ephraim, did go down, and then we saw Galestorm go down as well. So this is the first time tonight that we've actually seen this offense stifled so often, time and time again. If I'm not mistaken, Logic has a teleporter set up somewhere as well. He does in the corner of the map. It looks like Kikisho is going to be looking for it, so he might actually pick up the TP here. But the thing is, they still need to actually get onto the point. Revenge gets another kill onto Yang time. And it looks like in a 5v6 situation, the Explorers are still going to have to go for this.
Yeah, if the Explorers don't cap this point, it's pretty much reliant on the Zerglings to just take 1 point and then they win the game, right, Seamus?
Exactly. This is looking very, very dire.
Yeah, Red Rover going in with the ultimate, actually picks up 1, picks up 2, but gets shut down by the Earthshatter just in time. 4 members of the Zerglings still on the point, and so many members of the Explorers just completely shut down as they go for pushes. Doggy still has the ultimate available. No ults available on behalf of the Explorers, so this push is going to be very, very difficult.
Especially with only 25 seconds left. Kikisho is trying to do something on the team. He doesn't even have ultimate, but he's going to have to charge in. He's probably trying to bluff the ultimate there. Oh no, he got it, finally.
That was a big Graviton Surge coming in, but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen besides Kikisho going down to her own ultimate. Great zoning, and Galestorm just throws the Earthshatter down onto 1, but doesn't even finish off the kill there. Yanktime finishes off 1. Galestorm going down. E-Frame taking down a kill there. We're still in OT. Revenge just flying in, and E-Frame with the triple kill, lighting up the members of Maze Explorers, and they were not able to even take the first point. All the Zerglings have to do is hit point 1.
Zerglings with a fantastic defensive round, and you can see Doggy with that little very, very silly Zarya pose there. Let's look at this play of the game by Ephraim on Reinhardt.
Probably the triple.
Gets the pin onto Domo. Goodbye, Domo. Swinging that hammer around.
Gets the
kill to Regula. Gets the kill onto Red Rover. That's a very nice 3K for the Reinhardt. Noctis, probably the MVP of that game, got 4 gold medals, 5 medals total, so he was very, very effective for Diva's Zerglings. And now we will see Piscator whether or not they can capture a single point, because if they get onto the payload and they capture it, that's GG.
Then again, if they hold out, Maze Explorers rather hold out for longer than 5 minutes and 8 seconds, then I believe it is them who wins the game. Stopwatch can be a little confusing, but it's okay. We will be right here to lead you through it.
Yep, we'll be here just as confused as you. Cap it. We're just kidding.
They just have to cap it.
Yeah, of course, they just have to cap it.
Just cap it and you win the game. Korean advice. Just win.
This game was literally made for Twitch chat. Alright, so here we go. 30 seconds before the heroes are locked in. Gang time hovering over Soldier. Regulith might go with Symmetra. Symmetra as defense was used pretty effectively by the Zerglings. So it looks like they might actually be taking out their page of the playbook. And what do you expect to see, Piscator? Any new exciting heroes? Because I see a little red hero by the name of Torbjorn that Red Rover is hovering over, and that is a very strong hero for defense.
And we've seen like situations like this before, Seamus. Not in this tournament specifically, but remember that other that other ESL game we casted where a team was in this pretty much identical scenario where all they had to do was fight the other team off, and they pulled out like Junkrat, they pulled out Bastion, and Red Rover, instead of looking for his traditional flanks, looks to just actually no, he's on defense this time, looking to just hold them off with those turrets.
Yeah, so they have two ability heroes in Symmetra and Torbjorn, which just means that even if the heroes themselves don't do as much damage, they prevent pushes so effectively. You can't just run into a room with a ton of Symmetra turrets. You can't just run into the sightline of a Torbjorn turret because they are going to absolutely wail on you. So you're going to have a very strong front line. And what we see from the Explorers, the Zerglings is a pretty strong front line. Doggy on Winston and Ephraim on Reinhardt. But the question is, will it be strong enough? Now remember, 1 point capture for D.Va Zerglings mean they win this match.
Yeah, this initial break fight going to be huge, and it looks like the D.Va Zerglings actually making a very united push along the right side. This could catch the members of the Explorers off guard, and they're already backed up, throwing up all of their shields, backed up behind the second bus. As Doggy looks to make an aggressive entrance. Ephraim going through right here, just slashing his way through with the hammer, but Red Rover does find one with Domo, providing assistance in the back as well. First initial push definitely going to the Explorers on defense.
Yeah, definitely not worth losing both of your tanks just to take that Torbjorn turret, especially with such a long cooldown, You see Red Rover working on that again. And it looks like they're contesting the bus, because if you contest this bus area, there's 2 little places where the enemy team can push out, and it's really, really easy to keep control of this point if you limit the ability for the enemy to push through. Now, actually, Ephraim has managed to make it through, but he has no backup.
And again, oh, that's a big Earth Shatter coming out, though, but the rest of his team still pretty far away. He's staying alive for now, both Doggy and looks like the Pharah also making an entrance into this point to contest it. The members of the Explorers still pretty healthy right here. The ulti coming out from the Mercy, gonna make the fight a little bit more extended, however. Ephraim gets knocked down by an opposite Earth Shatter. The big ultimate coming out from the Pharah. Revenge, however, finds 1, finds 2. But it looks like the Zergling push has been stopped by the Explorers for now.
Soundberry coming out, and that's an ultimate from Soldier 76 as well. A lot of damage onto the point, but the thing is, the defense is still here. They have Torbjorn armor, they have Symmetra shields, they have so much protection. And in the first approximately 2 minutes of this game, we haven't seen D.Va's Explorers be able to breach this point yet. But they are working with some ultimates. Oh man, Yangtime finding that kill onto the Logic. That's going to stifle their offense for sure.
Then again, Revenge coming back with a revenge kill of his own. Gonna take Yangtime a lot longer to come back to this point than it is for the Zerglings to push up ahead. Still 2 minutes and 58 seconds left to work with. Big ultimates coming down right here. A big defensive push coming out of the Explorers to force the members of the Zerglings all the way back to their spawn point. It looks like the Zerglings are indeed pushed back. They're unable to make any sort of progress on this map whatsoever, as the Explorers still putting up a massive defensive wall that the Zerglings just cannot rush through.
Red Rover finding a kill onto CR Canik. And Hailstorm is able to protect the Torbjorn turret. The Reinhardt Torbjorn combo so very hard to get through as an offensive team. I really want to see some switches to maybe Assassins, because really, an Assassin who could get onto the backline and at least distract the enemy team might do better. Something like a Tracer, perhaps a Genji or a Reaper. For now, though, it looks like the Zerglings are just going to try and brute force their way through.
Yeah, they're coming through all the way. It looks like Baron actually suicides himself. Revenge finds a massive 2 with the Riptire. Logic still has that Resurrect available, so they have a big license to go very hard. Logic actually finds a kill as a support onto the Torbjorn turret, and Doggy finds Regula's teleporter. This should be a big stop from the defensive side, but Galestorm, shield going pretty low. Logic actually goes down. I'm not entirely sure if he was able to burn that ultimate inside, but Noctis, big 3 kills coming out from the missile barrage. 4 members of the defense currently down. Noctis going absolutely huge on that Winston to force the members of the defense out of this hill, but Domo still staying alive, finally goes down. If they capture it right here, it's all done.
Even Zerglings, they could probably end this here. Revenge has his ultimate retire out.
Takesha!
Oh, good lord. That's
gonna be it. It took them about 4 minutes, but it does look like D.Va Zerglings are the first place team in week 1 of the Overwatch Regional Clash, taking home 100 points.
100 points in their belts, and probably also all the pride and exposure that goes for being the first team to win the first week of the ORC. Very, very close game. Went down to the final map, the final few moments. But that will be Diva Zerglings taking it home.
So Diva Zerglings, in the first week of these 7 weeks of weekly tournaments, they are able to take home the 100 points, establish themselves as a team to look out for in the future, whether it's on stream or whether you're up playing against them. But then again, the fact that we have this circuit system, it doesn't necessarily knock all the other teams out immediately.
Right, so for those of you who aren't sure, the Zerglings are now at the top of the leaderboard with 100 points. 60 points is going to go over to the second place team, Explorers, and then I don't quite remember. Hold on, let me check it out. I want to say it's Lucio's Entourage got third and the Vandals got fourth, so they get a couple of points as well. But within the 7 weeks of play, the team with the #1 amount of points will automatically qualify for the finals, and then the other teams have to go through a gauntlet-style bracket to determine who will go. So there is still a ton of Overwatch to be played, and honestly, you guys shouldn't miss it, so be sure to follow this channel.
Right, especially considering the state of this game. We are still in a closed beta, so we're going to see balance shifts just go absolutely crazy in one direction, absolutely crazy in another direction, possibly another week. It definitely makes it fun building an esport as a community in this new game of Overwatch. And we hope, like Simu said, that you're here every single week. Well, you guys got to look at the bracket, but I believe that is going to be it for us. Be sure to follow this channel on Twitch. We'll be back live next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of the Overwatch Regional Clash.
Piscator, I heard that you're a hotshot caster who casts other games as well. Where can we find out if you're casting games any night?
Oh, sick plug. You can find my Twitter on the screen right now at Piscator Josh. And I believe, Simus, you are a hot caster as well. Where can we find you?
You can find me at Simus1 on Twitter. So twitter.com/Simus1.
But it looks like that is if the production's like, why are you guys plugging yourself? This is not what we pay you to do. You guys need to sign off right now. Ladies and gentlemen.
Are you getting paid, Piscator?
Oh, well, that's something we need to talk about off stream right now. But that is it for us. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in to the first week of the Overwatch Regional Clash. Like we just said, I am Joshua Piscator Lee here alongside Seamus, Simus Anderson. We'll be back next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more Overwatch.